Hello and welcome to Tech24. I'm Rebecca Bowering. Coming up in this special Google edition of the programme, the web behemoth goes head-to-head with Facebook. Google Plus gained 10 million users in 3 weeks. But should Mark Zuckerberg be worried? Get our guide to the newest social network on the block. From naught to online in just 8 seconds. With a Chromebook, you've never been better connected. Store files, even whole programs in the cloud. We'll look at whether Google's new netbook is taking off. Google is going from strength to strength. Company earnings for the second quarter of 2011 beat even the most optimistic of expectations. CEO Larry Page reported a 36% increase in profit on the same period of 2010. Net revenue rose to almost $7 billion. And on top of that, the popularity of its latest project is skyrocketing. The social networking website Google Plus attracted over 10 million users within 3 weeks. Well, to explain the ins and outs of this new Facebook rival, Eric Olander, our internet editor, joins us in the studio. Thanks for being here, Eric. So, to me, Google Plus seems like a bit of a mashup, if I could say that. Some of the best ideas from Facebook, some of the best from Twitter, and then some Google magic.
And some new ones. And these are words that I never thought I was going to say, but Google seems to be getting it right with social media. This is not an obvious thing for Google. Google has struggled in this space for a long time. Remember, Google Wave, Google Buzz, those just flamed out. They were disasters on all fronts. Right now with Google Plus, it's off to a great start. Don't forget, there are a myriad of ways that Google can mess this up. But for now, they're off to a great start.
So take us through some of the best features.
Well, right now, the killer app part of it, if you will, is Google Hangouts. And that's what a lot of people are saying is very distinct from what you can see on Facebook. So the Hangouts allow you to have 9 other people in video coming in and out of a chat room, but it's a video chat room, not like chat roulette, but you can bring it through your circles. And those circles, that's another key definition that's very important to distinguish it from Facebook. In Facebook, you can't organize people the way you can on Google+. I can organize you into one circle, my family into another circle, and you don't know how I've organized you. Whereas in Facebook, the amount of access that you have to someone's account and the information you see reveals how close you are to them. On Google Plus, they don't know. So that's, in that sense, it's the same as Twitter, where you accept everybody, but you can then control, like in Facebook, who sees what.
Now, Google Plus users are sharing about 1 billion items of information every single day. There has been criticism, though, that the site's difficult to navigate around.
Well, you know, the first edition of Google Plus seems to be the favorite of all the geeks out there. People like me love it. We're trying to figure out how to use this thing. What can we do with it? But a lot of everyday normal users are getting to Google Plus and they're getting a little confused because there is a learning curve with this. It's not like the other social networks in the past where you kind of step on and there you go. It's easy to figure out. There is something to figure out on Google Plus, and that's kind of intimidating some people, but we're seeing a very quick adoption now. Already in the past week, I've seen way more invitations than the week before coming from people who are not tech people, so that adoption is moving. Also, the genders are changing. It used to be 90% men in the beginning. Now it's 66%, not quite at Facebook's 50-50 ratio.
Precisely speaking about Facebook, should Mark Zuckerberg be worried about Google Plus, or is his website already so embedded in so many people's lives that, you know, the social network won't be dethroned?
My mother is not going to switch from Facebook to Google Plus. It's just, that's not going to happen. He's already gotten a whole lot of people's mothers, and that's the metaphor for people who struggle sometimes with technology, already on Facebook. They're probably not going to leave. So in one sense, Zuckerberg doesn't have anything to worry about. Zuckerberg's network, though, profits when the network keeps growing. And the question now is, will Facebook keep growing now that there is a formidable rival? And Google Plus is definitely a formidable rival. So there is worry for him on the growth side. Is Facebook going to go the way of Friendster and Napster and all these other networks? Probably not. It's never say never, but probably not. Most likely, it will just slow its growth.
So it has the staying power, but does Google Plus, because you were talking earlier about Wave and Buzz, they went down like lead balloons. I mean, are we going to see this site around another 5 years?
I think at this early stage, if they don't mess it up, there's, again, a lot of key ways they can mess this up. They can mess it up on the privacy side. They can violate our privacy. They can mess it up by putting too many features and making it difficult to use. They can mess it up with too much advertising. Look back to how MySpace messed up. We never thought in the beginning of MySpace that it was going to disappear as quickly as it did.
Just very briefly, you were talking about the Hangouts earlier, one of the key features of this site. You're going to be taking part. You're going to be hosting Hangouts.
You and I are going to be hosting Tech24 Hangouts.
How do we get involved with that?
Just find me, Eric Olander, O-L-A-N-D-E-R, on Google+. Friend me, put me in, I'll put you in a circle, and you and I are going to spend some afternoons every week kind of just talking to everybody on Tech24 about global technology. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody. Make it a two-way exchange.
Will be unmissable. Thanks for that, Eric. Stay with us. Test24 next. Time now for some gadget chat, and we're sticking with the Google theme. You're showing off there, Eric, the Chromebook. That's the new laptop computer released by Google. There are two versions. One you can see there, manufactured by Samsung, the other by Acer. €399 here in France for the Wi-Fi version. They're also out in Italy, Spain, the UK, the US, and in Africa very soon. Now, how is the Chromebook changing, Eric, the way that we think about surfing the web?
Well, this so far in the United States has been out for almost a year and has gotten very tepid reviews, and I suspect here in Europe it's going to get the same kind of lukewarm response. But let me start with some of the pros about it, because there are a lot of cons. But we'll start with the pros. Now watch this. I open it up, I press the power button, and boom, it turns on very quickly. That's a flash memory. One of the reasons why it turns on so quickly is because it's not going through a big hard drive of all the data on a hard drive. When you think of a computer, we store lots of things on the computer, on the hard drive itself. So it searches through all of that. That's when you sit in front of a Windows computer and it takes forever to log on. Here, everything is in the cloud. So if you love Google, if you have Gmail, Google Apps, all of their different functions and functionalities, you're going to like this computer. I'm not going to say love this computer. You're going to like this computer. If you're not a Google fan, this computer poses a lot of problems.
One of them has to be, or certainly we have to raise the question of privacy, because you yourself have said before that the cloud has never been safe.
Listen, I worry about this myself. I have a Gmail account, I've got a Google Voice account, I use Google Docs, I've now got a Google Plus account. I surf with Google on their search engine. So they have an enormous amount of my data. Now we're just trusting them that they're going to be benevolent about this. We're trusting them that they're not going to hand this over to another corporation. We're trusting them that they're not going to hand it over to a government. This computer ties us in closer to that Google universe where we're giving them yet more information. I'm not trying to be cynical here. It's just that the cloud has never had any assurances of security. This computer depends entirely on the cloud. And what it means, though, is that if you're not connected to the internet, this computer does not work. It does not have offline functions. Google says offline functionality is coming this summer. That means you can write your Gmail and your documents when you're not connected to a Wi-Fi or 3G network. But for now, when you're not connected to a Wi-Fi or 3G network, this is just a big piece of plastic that doesn't do anything.
Will it have quite a good take-up, though, because Google Chrome, the web browser, is so popular? 160 million users.
It's quite popular, but it's not as popular as Internet Explorer, and it's not as popular as Mozilla Firefox. I don't expect this to take off at all. I think this will be dead on arrival, in part because it doesn't really solve anybody's problems. Tablets are doing an excellent job for all the functionality that this is doing.
You can plug in a keyboard.
You can plug in a keyboard, and you can't store locally, but that's the same here too. At the same time, the cost on this is still very, very high relative to a tablet and also netbooks.
So one to avoid, says Eric Olander. Thank you very much for speaking to us, and thank you for watching this edition of Tech24. We're almost at the end. Go to our Facebook page /Tech24 where you can become a fan of the show. And Eric here set up a new Twitter feed at EricF24, and you can read there lots of technology news. Yep. We leave you now with a truly international clip of the week. One Day on Earth is an online community that aims to showcase the diversity of our planet, its conflicts, its tragedies, its triumphs. And everything that you can see in this movie trailer was filmed during the same 24-hour period all around the world on October the 10th, 2010. And it'll happen again on the 11th of the 11th this year. So go to onedayonearth.org to get involved with that. Thanks for watching. See you again next week on Tech24.